Before people roamed this earth, the sun and the moon argued over who should light the sky. The sun said he was all powerful and should be lighting the sky up. However, the moon said she was just as powerful. After proving who was more powerful, the sun and the moon finally agreed they were both equally strong. They decided to take turns at lighting up the sky. The sun during the day and the moon at night. Hi, my name is Bettina Atwill, your workshop facilitator, and welcome to the Secret to Storytelling with Children. I just shared a famous story from the Agta people, a group of hunter-gatherers from my country in the Philippines. Stories such as these are the foundation of the social fabric of the people, instilling messages of the way people should behave, collaborate, cooperate, and in this case, even understand gender equality. Today, stories are a part of human nature. They connect us to our past, they give us the roots to our ground. They are in every human culture. They are universal, timeless, and as old as time. I want to start this workshop and take time to just appreciate the way different cultures around the world celebrate themselves with their stories. By the end of this workshop, this particular day, I hope you gain a deeper appreciation of how stories connect, teach, and make space for belonging in every specific culture. I hope this also prompts you to look into your culture, to find a story relevant to you and the children you work and live with. Stay with me, and I will reveal a very obvious secret to storytelling. Welcome once again. Storytelling with Children, Workshop Day 1. Now, let's start off with the term oral storytelling. National Geographic describes oral storytelling as a storytelling way through voice and gestures. The oral tradition can take many forms such as epics, poems, chants, rhymes, songs, prayers, and proverbs. Oral storytelling does not concern itself so much about the truth. Instead, what it does, it fuels the imagination with myths, legends, fables, proverbs, and even deeper stories that share instructions of the way life should be lived. Truth is less important than providing cultural cohesion. In the land I am on, for example, the Wadawarung people of the Kulin Nation, they share their Dreamtime story of the Bunjil, the creator who made the land from the boulders he created and then covered with dirt. He created the land, the waterways, the plants, the trees, and the people. Quoting the Bendigo Council, who has written a summary of the Dreamtime story, I'd like to read. Bunjil went back into the sky and was very proud of what he had created. He decided he needed to create things to look after all of his creations. So he created people. He called all the people together and told them his rules. It is okay to take parts of plants to use, but don't kill the whole plant. It is okay to kill an animal as long as you perform ceremony and you use all of the animal. It is important that you look after yourself and the other people around you, especially the elders. An easy way to remember Bunjil's rule is to think YOE. Respect yourself, others, and the environment. These Dreamtime stories from the first Australians, when we take the time to appreciate, share simple undertone messages of life, respect, the environment, and the self. When we take time to listen to the elders who share their Dreamtime stories or read the rich literature available to us, we see how the land, the people, the ancestors, and emerging custodians are all connected. How every person in this world, regardless of race or culture, has a role in this realm we call life. In today's world, where we face different issues such as climate change, pandemics, threats to war, and the like, appreciating these stories before any colonization came and took over the world and turned it into a globalization, we can really see and appreciate how going inwards and and looking out for the people around us is kind of enough. In Bali, we have a famous shadow puppet theater, the wayang kulit. The intricate craftsmanship in the story, the puppets made from the buffalo hide, and the play in the dark and light all add to the mystique of the Indonesian culture. Taking a closer look at the meaning behind these shadow plays, presented with a rich musical and psalm, lively voiceovers, and a white sheet, reveal the traces of cultural integration over time. The Wayang Kulit typically plays a story of famous Hindu gods from India with roots in China and Malaysia. Wow! Talk about a shared art between culture going beyond time and boundaries. Now let's take some time to look at Ireland, a country that till this day continues to celebrate folklore that created the fabric of their culture before the printing press. Many rich stories continue to burn in the imaginations in Ireland. Dragons, very strong Celtic warriors, fairies set in blankets of dreamy, breathtaking Irish landscapes. Their oral storytelling continues to live in the rich folklore of the country. Taking time to appreciate the way the people of the past learned before education institutions became the norm can shed so much light on our human nature of being lifelong learners. The civilizations before colonization had oral traditions intact that preserved their histories and became tools to educate the young. This is no different with the Choctaw tribe. Like other Native American tribes, the Choctaw have an oral storytelling tradition going back generations. The Choctaw oral tradition includes two creation stories, one that has to do with the migration from the west and another on the creation from a mound. Stories from the Choctaw tribe intertwine moral and life lessons. Or what about hearing a story that invigorates all your senses? How special would it be to learn your people's history, traditions, and legends that touch your senses and your heart? This is no different for the native Hawaiians who have a special word for the story, mo'olelo, which also means history, legend, and tradition. These rich stories describe the creation of their very first person coming from a taro root or their courageous seafaring navigation voyages. And it's often accompanied by rich song, dance, fire, actions, and art in itself. This is an art in itself that many cultures, through time, continue to appreciate. Storytelling is so powerful. It's because it allows us humans to be the social beings that we are. We social beings, we thrive in strong communities and in some cases, strong tribes. In many parts of Africa, for example, the villages come together after dinner to sit around the fire and listen to the storyteller. Then there are families who tell their stories during dinner, introducing their children to their culture. For example, on Passover, families with Jewish faith celebrate a storytelling ritual during dinner with the story of the Exodus. Children are given time to comprehend and process the story as they ask 4 questions. And then there's your own way of storytelling as an educator or as a teacher. Okay, I think I can go on and on with every culture and their relationship with stories. It's just so fascinating to see all these connections threaded into each other and how we can all learn from it. Before the printing press and our 100-year-old education system, our heritage way of life was passed down through oral stories. It was here where our ancestors learned to live cooperatively and in unity, where their parents and elders taught them one story at a time. Stories are so effective. Why? They touch the heart, they bring in emotions, they develop language, they are rich in meaning, they answer the questions we naturally ask as human beings, and they are windows that allow us to see the color, complexities, and beauty of life. Now, let's bring it to us, the parents and educators, teachers of the young children today, the grown ups. Is it our turn now as grown ups, parents and educators, to be initiating and telling the story? The examples of how cultures celebrate their story simply shows us one obvious secret to storytelling. We can all be storytellers, regardless of our race, our culture, our social status. We can all be storytellers. It is in our human nature, our DNA. Now let's bring it to you and the children. Do you know any stories of your land? Did you hear them as a child? Can you share this with your children or the children you work with? Let's start with what we know and closest to our hearts. Download the PDF to help you guide you in sharing a powerful piece of culture, art, and history of your land. Tomorrow, we connect stories to play and playful learning. Till then, let's appreciate our evolution as human beings woven into a world colorful with stories that make our global world today. I'll see you all soon. It's me, Bettina Atwill, signing off.